Hey YouTube, it's Last Passion Games. If you didn't hear already, Xbox's Tango Gameworks has been saved today, and they've been acquired by a new company named Krafton, which is known for publishing PUBG. So, if you didn't hear already, basically they're just being bought out by this company, and they're bringing one IP with them, which would be Hi-Fi Rush. So if we were to take a look at Krafton, we can see some of their history, and they have a variety of studios and games. Most of them I'm not too familiar with. I think I've heard of Subnautica. I've played Smash Legends, of course PUBG, but they seem to be one of those publishers you don't know all too much about yet, which is a little scary, but I'm glad to see that Hi-Fi Rush and Tango Gameworks and all their employees are still going to be around, because I highly believe that they can develop great games. If anything, I'd just say I'm a little sad to see that Tango Gameworks and Xbox didn't work out, and mainly it's just because I think it's great to be backed by a console maker when you're a game developer, because you can get more access to money and falling back on the company that owns you when you have failures. So, even when Tango Gameworks had originally shut down, it was so sad to hear that Microsoft wouldn't cover their losses, especially after they made a game that was, it was getting a lot of good critical reception, getting awards. It seemed to be doing pretty well in terms of numbers. They publicly backed the game. They were doing all they can to publicize the game, because Xbox truly doesn't have many wins. And in my opinion, I really thought that was the best new IP Xbox has had in years, because Xbox really doesn't make many new IPs, and when they do make new IPs, they're generally very budgeted games, and they're not too fun because they generally have problems. So it was nice to see a clearly high quality game come from Xbox with entertaining story, nice cutscenes, good gameplay, because it's really a treat as an Xbox fan, Yeah, so it was just a little disappointing to me to see Tango Gameworks not stay with Xbox, because I really genuinely also thought that they were the perfect Japanese studio for Xbox. I know Shinji Mikami left, so if you don't know, Tango Gameworks had a lot of talent from companies like Platinum Games or Capcom, and they also, the biggest person they had there was Shinji Mikami, who created the Resident Evil franchise, and he left right after Hi-Fi Rush was completed. So he left about a year or two into Microsoft owning Tango Gameworks. But his goal with Tango Gameworks was always to cultivate new talent and let them create their own good gaming experiences and take over the company one day. Like, that was the whole point of Tango Gameworks. So him leaving, I didn't feel like it was that much of a blow, especially since he already had younger directors directing the games that come from Tango Gameworks for a few years now. And Hi-Fi Rush was in fact directed by one of those younger directors, and that director in particular was, I believe he's white and he's English speaking. So with a creative lead in the company that could produce you a hit game that also speaks English and takes down some of those barriers to communication, since Xbox is a English company, I really thought, like, hey, this is the perfect Japanese studio for them to own. And also, like, Tango doesn't have that many employees. I believe they have somewhere between 50 and 100 employees, so it's a pretty small developer that doesn't have that long of a turnaround for games. They've produced 5 games within 10 years, and only 4 of them console games. But that's not that bad considering how slow games have been coming for the past few years. They did produce one series that at least truly was a hit with The Evil Within, as it was a very fast-selling horror franchise at the beginning of its run, at the very least. And I did hear a lot of people, like, they critically love that game. If anything, I think their biggest dud was Ghostwire Tokyo. And I think something that really led to them closing is we don't know truly how well Ghostwire Tokyo or Hi-Fi Rush performed. Like, if you were to go and look at Steam Spy or like Steam charts, you could speculate with information that we've been given that Hi-Fi Rush didn't perform that badly, considering it doesn't have a bad peak, and it has quite a lot of reviews, and its owner estimations are pretty high considering this is only on one platform, and you can also play Hi-Fi Rush on Xbox Game Pass and PlayStation 4, and then you can also purchase it on Xbox itself. I wouldn't be surprised if Hi-Fi Rush crossed 1 million sales. Xbox just doesn't disclose their sales. So I kind of wonder what metric Xbox, like to this day, I still wonder what metric Xbox was hoping to reach with Hi-Fi Rush, with this small developer. The only thing that kind of concerns me whenever it came to Hi-Fi Rush's success was, I believe it was developed for 5 years or 6 years, but I believe John Johannes, which is the creative director for the game, I believe he said in his first few years it was just him and someone else, like just 2 people working on the programming for the game. So I don't think that would have been that big of a budgetary concern. I'm still confused, honestly. I'm happy to see that Hi-Fi Rush and Tango are still alive. I just really thought it would have been great to see Xbox staff up and finally have a true Japanese developer. They had rumors saying like Gameworks is working on like RPG games. Like, it would be nice to see another JRPG on the Xbox console after Lost Odyssey. And then it would have been great to see Hi-Fi Rush 2, as it had a lot of identity. And it's been a while since we truly had something really interesting associated with the Xbox brand. But that being said, I mean, exclusives don't necessarily matter. It's just something to justify the box you buy. But it was interesting to see. It was an interesting run, and I really thought there could have been something cooler. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Are you glad to see that Tango survived? Do you think Hi-Fi Rush is gassed up, or do you think it's a really good game? Let me know what you think in the comments. Have a good one. Subscribe and like if you like the video.